The storm over Zenthra 5 wasn't natural. Ronan knew storms. As a former Terran recon operative, he'd survived Category 12 wind vortexes and the acid hail of Juno 9. But this sky wasn't angry, it was hunting. He crouched behind the rusted hull of an old mining crawler, clutching his plasma rifle more out of habit than hope. The sky was dark violet, and flashes of white light zipped across the heavens, not like lightning, but like search beams. He'd taken the wrong job. Again. Merc escort. One night. Easy creds, the broker had said. You just gotta walk a client through the dustlands. Quiet in, quiet out. Bullshit. Because right now, the client was behind him, breathing hard and glowing faintly with bioluminescent lines across her skin. Not just glowing. Shimmering. You lied to me, Ronan growled, not looking at her. You didn't say the scourge were after you. I said I was in danger, the woman replied, her voice like silk soaked in voltage. You assumed that meant mortal danger. You didn't ask what kind. He turned. She was tall, maybe 6 feet 6 inches, with eyes that shifted color like oil on water. She wasn't human, not quite. Slender but strong. Her hair floated around her like it was suspended in 0G. And those markings on her skin pulsed with a rhythm like a heartbeat. Her name, or at least what she gave him, was Seraphim. Who are you? Ronan asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted the answer. Her eyes met his. The last of something forbidden. Before he could speak, a beam of light swept across the desert ridge just behind them, scanning. Searching. She flinched and whispered, Please. Hide me, and I'll give you what no human has ever touched. Ronan blinked. Lady, I don't know what the hell you're offering, but I'm not risking my skin for. She stepped close. Her palm pressed to his chest, and his entire HUD shorted out. The implant in his neck sparked, then went dead. What the? I'm not threatening you, she said quickly. I'm showing you how dangerous I am to the people hunting me. If you hide me, they won't find you either. I'm not bait. I'm a blind spot. Protect me, and you disappear with me. And this thing you're offering, what no human has ever touched. She leaned closer. Knowledge. A connection to something your kind abandoned millennia ago. The architects, the makers, the ones who left this galaxy, after seeding it with species like yours. Ronan's jaw clenched. A myth. The architect cults. Humanity had laughed them off. But now she was speaking like they were real. And the scourge were hunting her. He looked out at the horizon. The searchers were closing in. Follow me, he said. And don't glow. They ran through the dustlands for 2 hours, using every trick Ronan knew to mask their trail. Null grenades, thermal decoys, even old-school sand burrowing. They found shelter in an abandoned dome buried beneath the sand. An old terraforming station, forgotten and sunken. Inside, the power still worked. Barely. Seraphim curled into a corner, wrapping herself in a thermal blanket. The markings on her body dimmed until she was nearly invisible. You still haven't told me why the scourge are chasing you, Ronan said, pouring 2 cups of recycled water. They want the codex inside me, she replied. It's not data. A living key. An interface designed by the architects. I was born to carry it, to protect it until the gate could be opened again. What gate? She looked up, tired. The gate beneath Earth. The one you don't even know exists. They sealed it when humanity grew too violent. Too unpredictable. They left you behind. Ronan scoffed. Sounds like divine punishment. Not divine. Practical. You were meant to evolve on your own. But now the scourge found the coordinates. They want in. I'm the last lock. And you are the only one who didn't hand me over at the first whiff of danger. Ronan went quiet. The mercs she'd hired before him, dead. Betrayed her, tried to sell her. But she'd survived, always on the run. And now, by some twisted irony, he was the one hiding her. Why me? He asked. Why not some hero? A Federation agent? A senator? Seraphim smiled faintly. Because you're the kind of human the architects feared, and secretly admired. You adapt. You survive. You never let go, even when the stars collapse. That night the scourge descended. Sleek machines with no eyes and no voices, slithering across the dunes with silent fury. Their sensors hummed inches above the sand, but they passed over the buried dome like it wasn't there. Seraphim sat perfectly still, eyes closed, skin almost transparent. Her body was broadcasting something he couldn't see, but the scourge could. A decoy field. Or a mask. Either way it worked. The machines moved on. Morning. Ronan woke with his rifle across his lap. Seraphim stood outside the dome watching the sky. He joined her. You said you'd give me something, he said. Something no humans ever touched. She turned to him and placed her hand against his temple. Close your eyes. He did. And the universe poured in. Not visually but viscerally. Emotions, echoes, and whispers in ancient tones. A map not of space, but of connection. Every sentient being ever touched by the architects had left behind a resonance. And now Ronan could feel them all. They called it the symphony, Seraphim whispered. Every soul, every thought, every breath. All part of a living memory. The Codex doesn't just unlock gates. It unlocks us. Ronan staggered back, gasping. He looked at his hands, his arms, his chest. He felt changed. Why me? He asked again, softer now. Because you never asked for it, she said. You protected me before I offered anything. That's how they knew. They. She looked upward. The architects never left. They just waited. They traveled for 2 more days. The scourge were relentless, but they couldn't trace her. Not anymore. Ronan guided them to an old smuggler port with a stolen shuttle. Before boarding, Seraphim turned to him. I have to leave. But not forever. When the Codex finishes its calibration, I'll return. And then you'll see the gate. And what's behind it. But more importantly, she touched his chest, you'll hear the symphony again. For real this time. She leaned in and kissed his cheek. Her lips left a glowing mark that faded into his skin. Hide me, she had said once. And he had. Now the universe owed him a secret. As the shuttle lifted off, Ronan stared into the sky, hearing faint notes that no one else could. The symphony had begun, and he was its first conductor in 300,000 years.